All right, good evening. Today is Wednesday, June 27th. Call the Board of Selectmen meeting to order, and as always, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And as always, we grant permission to Westcat Media Center to record this meeting. Ask if anyone else wishes to record the meeting. Seeing none, we will move along to the...
Just take photos.
Photos are okay, that's fine, thank you.
Westwood Press.
Westwood Press, you have permission, thank you. All right, so on the chairman's update, we're going to start first with a moment of silence. We have 4 individuals that passed away who were important to the town, and we'd like to recognize them. So first we have Nick Capino, who was the town's cleaning contractor for many, many years and passed away suddenly of a heart attack on Saturday morning. You might remember Nick from the selectmen's meetings when we were still at Town Hall and other night meetings. If you attended, he was very kind and sweet and will greatly be missed. He used to be the person that cleaned Town Hall, so for anyone that might know. His son Gino is also one of our sewer pump operators. Nick cleaned all of our municipal buildings. Second, we have Sandy Pandell. Sandy was a crossing guard for many years in Westwood, both at the Deerfield Path and High Street and Pine Lane and Gay Street. And she is also the mother of Officer Brad Pandell, the school resources officer and varsity football coach, and Corey Pandell, who was a firefighter. We also lost Bruce McDonald, who passed away after his battle with cancer. Bruce was a proud member of the Westwood Police Force for 30 years, 23 years of which were served as a sergeant. And finally, and most recently, Alan Ward, previously a long-standing member of the ZBA, a volunteer at the COA, and a member of the Westwood Senior Men's Club and the Historical Society. He passed away just a couple days ago. So at this time, I'd ask for a moment of silence. Thank you. And also on the Chairman's update, just a quick reminder that the farmers market happens every Tuesday right outside here from 1 to 6 in front of Town Hall. Residents are reminded that the farmers market season has begun, and residents can stop by between 1 and 6. The new location is right here in front of Town Hall, which has plenty of parking both in front of the police station and, excuse me, and behind Town Hall. The farmers market offers fresh produce, bread, cupcakes, and other locally grown items for your purchase. Excuse me. Moving on to our scheduled action. My computer just booted me out.
I just had one thing, Michael.
Yes, John.
I just wanted to make note, this past Saturday, we had a free football clinic at Westwood High. There was over 200 kids from the town who had a 4-hour clinic run by Patrick Chung from the New England Patriots, and it was free. And the recreation department, Nicole and her team and Taryn just really went above and beyond and did a great job. Members of the Recreation Commission were there. So it was just a great day, and it was really a proud time for Westwood, and I've received so many compliments. So I just wanted to make sure we made note of that for the staff. Thanks.
And that reminds me too, John, speaking of great moments, we, if you may recall back at the November town meeting, the town meeting approved the new Blue Hills Regional High School to be built in cooperation with the Massachusetts School Building Association. This week, Nancy and I were able to attend the groundbreaking over at Blue Hills Regional, so just want to let you know that that is well on its way now, and good things for some of our students to come.
Not new build, rehabilitation.
Well,
Yeah,
yes.
but a very large project, so nice to see that going.
And also added to my chairman's update, I did want to let you know, most of our parents, grandparents, or whoever may be taking care of young children, that Westwood Health Department has installed sunscreen dispensers at the School Street Playground, Morrison Field, and the Houghton Street tot lot. They were able to secure dispensers free of charge as a pilot program from Sun Stations USA. We received monetary donations from Roach Brothers and Wegmans to provide the sunscreen for this summer, and if the project is successful, they'll be expanding it to other parks and fields next year. So thank you to the Health Department.
They're a great help.
All right, scheduled action. First thing that we have is a public hearing on Temple Beth David, an application for an unattended donation container. Nori, welcome to come up, and Nancy would like to make a statement before we conduct this part of business.
I just want to disclose, and while it's not required to do so in a public meeting, I have filed a disclosure with the town clerk, as I am a neighbor to Temple Beth David, live within 300 feet. And I have filed a disclosure with the town clerk indicating that under Mass General Law 268A, Sections 19 and 23, I have been told that I am able to participate in this agenda item. And this is on file again with the town clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. So Nora, do you want to take it from there?
Sure, I think Catherine Larson,
Yeah.
join me.
And
Catherine's here from Bay State Textiles.
Mr. Allen as well?
Hi.
Did you want to come out, Mr. Allen?
We have a chair.
So we have Laura Larson from Bay State Textiles, and we have...
Catherine Larson.
Oh, sorry, Catherine Larson. And Howard Allen is a representative from Temple Beth David. Good evening. Nora, go ahead.
So you may recall, passed an unattended donation containers rules and regulations a couple of years ago. And we had all of the old unattended donation containers removed and have had several that have come before you for reconsideration for new placement. The one at Temple Beth David is new. This was not something that had been previously there. We had them apply first to the planning department for an administrative review, which they received back in April, and let them know that they needed to get a license before they began operations. So I will point out that the container has been there for some time. I'm not sure exactly when it was placed, but
October.
right. So it has been operating without a license, but we're asking you tonight to grant a license to allow it to continue.
Any questions?
No, this is interesting though. I feel like this is very similar to what we read about for the container at the Baptist church.
It is
Is this the
similar, it's a
same type of
smaller
program?
container, but a similar
Okay.
program. Yes.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. It's just interesting as I'm reading this. I was remembering that moment.
So there are regulations that it has to be placed a certain distance from the borders of the
Mhm.
lot, meet the setback requirements, not have any other signage on the property. That's another issue I think we want to discuss. The administrative site plan approval specifically says there can be no signage associated with the container, and I believe there has been.
No, I think it's great.
Take a minute.
Hasn't there been even for the Baptist church out
There
on
has been, and
109?
they've been told to remove it.
Okay.
So I know the building commissioner has been up a couple of times, physically removing the signs.
Why did we decide to do it that way? I mean, I know
And not
we
have signage?
Yeah.
A zoning bylaw only allows one freestanding sign per
Mm.
use at a property,
Right.
or per property, which would include the principal use. They could go to the zoning board and request a specific sign for that, but they can't get a sign without receiving a special permit.
And the location, as it is now positioned in the parking lot, is in compliance with our,
It is, that's as approved by the
Regulations.
site plan, and it's in compliance.
Okay, a legal notice of the public hearing was duly posted and advertised and noticed. All of the forms have been completed and approved by the town planner. Since this is a public hearing, are there any questions from the public? Seeing no one wishes to be heard.
I'll make a motion that we grant.
are we going to ask Catherine if she
Oh,
wants to
I'm
say
sorry.
anything?
All right, go ahead.
She has notes
the
there, so
program.
maybe she'd like to say
Yeah,
something.
go ahead.
Well, no, I thought while I was here, I'd take this opportunity to share a little bit about Bay State Textiles and our program. We're partnered with over 90 school districts in Eastern Mass and another 40 municipalities on top of that. In Westwood, our only box is at the Temple Beth David. I get calls regularly from Westwood residents, where can they go? I direct them to the Westwood box. I included in the folder some information on our school box program, which could also be a municipal program. We've been in communication trying to work something out with the schools. The focus of our program is to spread awareness to the problem of unwanted textiles. The Mass DEP has really put an emphasis on unwanted textiles. There's 520 million pounds that end up in the waste stream in Massachusetts each year, of which 95% can be recycled. So in your folder, you'll see I brought a comparison, the Medfield program. They've had their program since September of 2014, so a little less than 4 years. They've generated over $15,000 for their schools. So, I kind of took this opportunity twofold to say we'd welcome the opportunity to work with you folks if you wanted to create a program in either the schools or on municipal property.
What are the statistics like in terms of what's reusable, or let's say it's clothing that actually
Sure.
continues to be used versus recycled?
So it's a very fascinating industry. Bay State Textiles, we're based out of Pembroke, Mass. On the South Shore. We just collect the product, we bale it, and we ship it out. There's a healthy demand globally for unwanted textiles. It goes through a grading process, excuse me, where 45% is reused as clothing, shoes, so it creates jobs in the global economy. You know, for example, we have a customer in Chile who has multiple thrift stores. So, you know, micro-entrepreneur, it stimulates the global economy. And then what can't be reused is broken down into either 30% being the wiping grade for rags and such, 20% the fiber grade for carpet padding, insulation, and then there's that 5% that's waste. So, you know, I like a little saying that the stuffing from the stuffed animals could end up in the car seats of our cars. Our cars have about 50 pounds of recycled textiles in them. So we don't think about that as we're out driving around town. You know, so there's a need for the product in other industries versus it ending up in the waste stream. And I left some statistics for potential revenue in Westwood. You know, the average American discards 81 pounds a year, of which only 15% of that is being recycled or reused. So it's a problem, you know, and we need a solution.
Given the size of the box, what happens if it's so well populated with people, you know, disposing of things there? What happens with your schedule? Because I think
So we
I
do
read
weekly,
once a week pickup.
we
right
do
now.
weekly pickups to prevent box overflow. I think my boss was really smart by partnering with schools. We don't have an issue with dumping. People tend to respect the boxes on municipal property. You know, we want to be a community partner. We don't want to just be that random box on the side of the road, you know. And I always say, you know, we don't live in a perfect world. The box might fill up outside of its schedule, call, and we'll come out and service that. And that's happened quite a bit with the temple.
Has it already?
Yeah, we.
That's a nice problem.
It's fine, yeah, it's a wonderful problem to have.
So you-
They've collected.
Yeah, so we give them a call.
And they're responsive?
Yeah, they come that day. So they've been coming Tuesday and Thursday, actually, because when Thursday, I think, is the Norwood schedule, so they put us on, you know, the swing
Okay.
by with.
And so since October, just that one box, October 26th, so we're looking at about 8 months, they've collected 11,430 pounds, generating $571.50 for the temple. You know, it's not a get-rich-quick, but it's an ongoing, sustainable program that runs itself.
Anything else?
Okay, no, do I need to mention that we were continued, that this was a continued hearing?
It was a new.
It was a
wasn't
new,
continued.
we canceled and re-advertised appropriately, so.
Okay.
Okay, I move that the Board of Selectmen approve a license per the town's bylaw, Chapter 370, for the unattended donation container license for Bay State Textiles at Temple Beth David at 7 Clapwood Street.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye. Opposed, none. Thank you. It is fascinating, but in the spirit of recycling, please take that back. It'll wind up in my car, and I'll be throwing it out in 3 weeks.
I appreciate that.
And you're probably paying now
Thank you for coming in.
recycling too.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that, and I don't know, you know, every town that I work with has different people that get involved in the approval process, so feel free to pass on my information.
Claire,
Thank
that
you.
came in
Thank
to
you.
talk to you, will be able to help, so.
Oh, she's been working with me for a while now on it.
With them for what, 12, 15 years?
We've hit a few roadblocks here in Westwood, but hopefully they're just temporary.
No, We're over one now, so.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so next on our scheduled hearing, we were supposed to have a public hearing from Eversource in the grant of location of new electrical service at 476 Everett Street. Officially, Eversource has officially withdrawn this petition from consideration, so we'll vote to close the hearing without prejudice.
So I would move that the board vote to close the public hearing related to a petition submitted by NStar Electric Company doing business as Eversource Energy for the purpose of obtaining a grant of location without prejudice.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Moving along, we have a continued public hearing for a small cell wireless antenna at 1 University Ave, formerly known as 400 Blue Hill Drive. Our purpose was to officially close the hearing, opened on Monday, May 21st, at our selectmen meeting that night, related to an application for a small cell antenna to be installed on a pole on Blue Hill Drive. The public hearing has been canceled on the small cell application on Blue Hill Drive because of lack of jurisdiction. Apparently, it falls under Mass DOT and not under the town of Westwood. So,
So I would move that the board announce the cancellation of the public hearing on the small cell antenna application on Blue Hill Drive because of a lack of jurisdiction. I don't think we need to vote on that, though.
just to close the
Just to
hearing?
close the
Just to
hearing,
vote,
right?
you close it, yeah.
Even,
Let's do it.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah?
might as
Okay.
well.
Motion.
Nothing wrong with completeness.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the motion?
Okay, and I will second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Have you-
Christine, I'm giving
have
this
you
back
willingly
after the meeting,
gone
because it
out?
keeps shutting me, no, it
Have
keeps
you
shutting me
willingly
down.
backed out and then gone back in?
No.
I know it's bouncing you out.
It's
'cause
bouncing me out
It was
every
doing
single
that to me
time.
earlier,
Yes.
and now it's not.
Okay. Under new
Having an
business.
easy night, which is unusual.
We'll get used to
The good
these
news is,
gadgets.
the good news
Working
is
for
I
me
know how to
tonight.
work it.
It's
I
so-
know.
working for me tonight, it's usually the other way around.
All right, under schedule, under new business, we have a request to post and fill the town assessor's position. So we are asked to post and fill the town assessor's position because Debbie Robbins, the town assessor, who has worked for the town since 2004 and has performed very well, has indicated that she'll be retiring in late calendar 2018. She hasn't given us an exact date yet. But because it's such an important position, whose work involves maintaining property and, of course, lots of things surrounding the assessed values of properties in town, they would like to get a jump start on it to be able to, get a very qualified candidates. I understand it's a very limited availability of candidates, so they wanted to try to get a jump on this as soon as possible.
So Pam, what ways are we going to be advertising this position to get the word out? What's available to us?
Yes, well, we'll do the Mass Municipal site. A lot of municipal jobs are posted there, a lot of people take a look at that. The Assessing Association in Massachusetts has a job posting board, so we'll do that. That would be a way to notify kind of people in the current type job in other communities. Similar to the MGFOA, the Mass Government Finance Officers Group, has a similar job posting. So we'll be doing kind of all of that to make sure that the word gets out. The Board of Assessors did have a meeting last week. They did want to request early permission to get started. We will work with the Human Resource Director to make sure that, job description's updated. We'll do our kind of routine interview panels and that type of search. But we would like to just get out there and see what the interest might be.
Okay.
Where did we get Debbie from when she joined us?
Debbie worked in Norfolk, I want to say. Yes, she came from another community. It would be a terrific job for someone in kind of another community currently, maybe a little bit smaller community, or someone who's in a large community that maybe is in the assistant.
Winding down.
Oh, no, the assistant position in a large
Yeah, be
community.
able to
You know,
run
we
the
have kind of
department.
one town assessor, but a bigger community would have, kind of multiple staff. We think, even though it might be a limited pool, that certainly we're a desirable town to work for.
I hear that.
We are, and particularly, the assessing role. Some communities have greater struggles with assessments where they have kind of a varied type of property. We're primarily residential, single-family home, and then just kind of the limited large commercial. They also, Debbie's kind of out there speaking up the job to others in the community, in her community. Talking about the team atmosphere we have at Town Hall, the support from the Board of Assessors, the support coming in every year for that tax classification hearing with the selectmen. So, definitely it would be an environment that would be a great professional environment for someone to come into.
Also, give them some time, for perhaps even overlap, right? When a new one comes in and Deb's still here.
Yes, that would
Always
be,
important,
kind
yeah.
of ideal, just because every town does things, slightly different, or to get a feel of the town and the neighborhoods and that type of thing.
Good.
Okay. So I would move that the board approve the posting and filling of a town assessor position and to authorize the finance director and the Board of Assessors to work with the Human Resources Director to begin the search and selection process for a candidate to be appointed by the town administrator.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving along again. We also have, under old business, we have appointments and reappointments.
Right.
A task that seems to just come every single year.
This actually
religiously.
cleans it up to almost the very end.
It's come a long way.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember my first year. It hadn't come quite this far as it is now, so it's coming along much better.
2 meetings.
When we do the first one?
Yeah, so I figured
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
At our last meeting, we voted ourselves into positions.
you
but we
talked
didn't
about
actually do a
them, you
motion.
assigned them,
Yeah.
you
We
didn't
agreed
vote
to
it.
them. We agreed to them, but.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take a formal vote tonight. So I would move that we formalize our individual appointments. Aid to the Elderly and Infirm, Nancy Hyde. Housing Partnership, Fair Housing Committee, John Hickey. Islington Center Task Force, Michael Walsh. Lien Process Board, John Hickey. Long Range Financial Planning Committee, Michael Walsh. Municipal Facilities Task Force, Nancy Hyde. Norfolk County Selectmen's Association, Michael Walsh. And the Westwood Environmental Action Committee. And these are annual appointments, Christine?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I would move that they be annual appointments.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And we have a request for new appointments to the Pedestrian and Bike Safety Committee and also to the Housing Partnership for Fair Housing Committee. The same individual, Kate Wynn, or Kathleen Wynn as she's officially known.
Yeah.
Kate has indicated that she's interested in serving the Pedestrian and Bike Safety Committee. She has a BS in Paralegal Studies from Boston University and has worked at the Army Reserves in Devons, an executive assistant to the presidents and CEOs of various companies. She seems qualified. She's also expressed an interest in the Housing Partnership for Fair Housing Committee as a community representative. So her resume was in our
Yeah, I
package.
just want to comment that Kate, for a brief time, thought she might run for office in the spring and attended meetings and introduced herself and then has been attending many different meetings. And she's delightful in terms of she's willing to speak up and express herself very effectively and really seems very engaged. And I had spoken to her about potential opportunities, and she said she really did want to get involved in the town. The planning board didn't feel like that would be the right pursuit for her, so I think it's great that she's coming forward, and these look like good fits for her interest.
Yeah, she's even been in some of our meetings. She's been here before,
Yeah,
so.
it's really, it's
She had
nice.
planned on attending tonight and at the last minute unfortunately couldn't make it, so.
Okay. Well, she doesn't necessarily need to be here.
Well, it's nice to
It's nice
meet
when they
people.
do come,
It's
but
nice when they do.
we all know who she is.
Yeah. I will.
John, any questions?
All right, nope, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, so proposed action. Okay, so I would move that the board appoint Kathleen Kate Wynn as a member of the Pedestrian and Bicycle Safety Committee for a term to expire on June 30th, 2021.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would further move that we appoint Kathleen Kate Wynn as a member of the Housing Partnership Fair Housing Committee for a term to expire on June 30th, 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we also have a new appointment to the Housing Partnership and Fair Housing Committee. Abraham, or
Avi.
known as Avi Glazer, has expressed an interest in being appointed to the Housing Partnership and Fair Housing Committee. He's a professional broker and HR organizational development manager and has expertise in residential, commercial, and affordable real estate. Sounds like he'd be a perfect fit.
Has anybody met him or know him on
It
this
says he met
board?
with Sarah and Mike.
Sarah and
Yeah, he
Mike.
met with
I know.
Sarah and Michael, and same thing, he was gonna try to come tonight and couldn't make it,
I think
so.
we should wait, because I really.
I don't believe the Housing Partnership Fair Housing Committee has a meeting between now and July 23rd anyways, so we're happy
Hold on.
to reorganize
Yeah,
that.
just my personal policy is they should either be here if we don't know them, so I'd rather not go against that, I think
Okay,
it's
that's fine.
the way to go.
So then we also have the planning board recommended appointments. Planning board met on June 12th and reorganized. Dave Atkins is now the chair, Brian Gorman and the vice chair, and Chris Spaff as the secretary. And they have provided to us the following. Housing Partnership and Fair Housing Committee, Michael McCusker is the member and Brian Gorman is the alternate. MBTA Advisory Board designee, Chris Pfaff is a member and Steve Olenoff will be the alternate. Regional Transportation Advisory Council, Brian Gorman, a member, and Dave Atkins as the alternate. Three Rivers Interlocal Council, also known as TRIC, Michael McCusker as a member and Chris Pfaff as the alternate. Islington Task Force will be Michael McCusker. Pedestrian and Bike Safety Committee will be Brian Gorman. And the Town Facilities Task Force will be Michael McCusker. My only question, Christine, is we have not appointed Steve.
No, so the planning board, when they met, so Steve, you're talking about MBTA Advisory Board?
Yes, because we haven't appointed Steve since he's,
So the appointment to that organization, you have reappointed on an annual basis, but they actually only accept the appointments for terms of 3 years. So the last time you sent Steve as the authority that you were appointed to represent Westwood, they created him for a 3-year term.
okay.
And
So
we
it doesn't
we
need to
do
be
1 year because of election and all that, so that if there is a chance that that person's not on, but they can stay on as an MBTA if the board recommends. We can notify the MBTA and say,
Can we have
we
two
wanna change
alternates?
this.
This is the MAPC, right? That's what
No.
we're-
No, this is the
MBTA
MBTA
Advisory Board.
Advisory Board.
MAPC.
No,
not on here.
MAPC is not on here, because
Okay.
that one's actually,
That one's another one that's a 3-year term. And
Yeah.
he's actually been appointed to the executive committee on that one. So.
yeah.
Can the MBTA Advisory Board have more than one alternate?
I believe they can. I don't think they'll be officially recognized, but you could certainly appoint somebody to go to the meetings.
Well, it looks like Debbie Conant hasn't participated in this, so I think we should appoint her as an alternate.
Yeah, I'm fine. Does that work?
Sure.
Okay, so I would move that the board appoint Michael McCusker as a member and Brian Gorman as alternate to the Housing Partnership Fair Housing Committee for term to end June 30th, 2019.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. I would move that Chris Pfaff as a member and Stephen Olenoff and Deborah Gorman as alternates to the...
Deborah
Conan.
Conant.
Deborah Conant, as alternates to the MBTA Advisory Board for term to expire June 30th, 2019.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. I move that Brian Gorman as member and Dave Atkins as the alternate to the Regional Transportation Advisory Council for term to expire June 30th, 2019.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. I move that Michael McCusker as a member and Chris Pfaff as the alternate to the Three Rivers Interlocal Council, known as TRIC, for term to expire June 30th, 2019.
Second?
Second.
Sorry. All in favor?
Aye. I move that Michael McCusker as the Planning Board representative to the Islington Center Task Force for a term to expire on June 30th, 2019.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. I move Brian Gorman as the Planning Board representative to the Pedestrian and Bicycle Safety Committee for a term to expire June 30th, 2019.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Move Michael McCusker as the Planning Board representative to the Town Facilities Task Force for a term to expire June 30th, 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so then we have some reappointments. The members are already in blue. Members in green are new appointments.
Which you just voted,
Just voted all
most of
those,
them.
Right?
Yeah, there are no new members.
No new green ones?
No new green ones listed in that list
Okay.
than what you just discussed.
Right.
Everyone in blue is who you'd want to consider. So we have Conservation Commission, reappointment to the Housing Partnership Fair Housing Committee, Islington Center Task Force, reappointments of those members, with just the added note that the Finance and Warrant Commission will not have a appointed member. They will
So,
assign a
new board.
liaison.
They've decided to go,
Yep, they will stay off all boards and committees.
even though they can.
Even though they can, they've been advised that they can, they've chosen to stay as a liaison. So the FinCom will assign someone to represent someone on each one of the boards and committees that they have representation on. They will not participate in votes.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I have a question under the Housing Partnership Fair Housing.
Sure.
Mrs. Onderdonk, is she, that will be as long as she's a
As
resident
long
here?
as she stays in Westwood.
Correct.
Okay, so Christie, I need to
You can,
start with the Conservation Commission, right?
yes.
Not move that we appoint R.J. Shear as a member of the Conservation Commission for a term to expire June 30th, 2019.
2021.
2021. I'm doing this from memory because my thing shut down.
Yeah, it's kicking us out, but anyway.
It's doing that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, all of these members have already previously served. We can do a list.
Refer to the list.
Refer to the list.
So next time?
For all
No,
your
tonight.
reappointments. No, for
Reappointments.
tonight. You can say,
Housing-
well, we post the
Conservation
list.
Commission.
Yeah, we post
Housing
the list
Partnership.
for, with the decision notice of
Okay.
all the people's names and term expires.
So if you just want to do the committees, John, then we can do it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would move that I'm sorry, what is the
Board of
word?
Selectmen reappoint those listed in the color blue for the following departments with their terms to expire as listed.
Okay. Conservation Commission, the Housing Partnership for Fair Housing Committee, the Islington Center Task Force, the Long Range Financial Planning Committee, the Town Facilities Task Force,
That's it.
and that's it.
I'll second those.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, so we have some remaining vacancies, and so let me just tell you what those are, so that anyone who's interested can contact the Board of Selectmen's office. First, we have the Commission on Disability. There is an associate membership available. The Commission on Disability is comprised of residents appointed to 3-year overlapping terms. The Commission's responsibilities includes, but are not limited to, the implementation of the Americans with Disabilities Act and advise the selectmen accordingly. They monitor local, public, and private compliance with the state architectural access requirements and serve as liaison to the Council on Aging, Education Department, Public Health Department, and town offices and organizations regarding disability issues. The commission meets 10 times per year. We also have 2 regular member vacancies on the Communications and Technology Advisory Board. That commission is to optimize existing technology resources and provide new technology guidance to enhance the performance and produce better town services for the town. It's composed of 7 members with 2-year overlapping terms, and generally meets on the second Tuesday evening of the month. The members participate in other meetings and activities with employees and town officials whenever needed to oversee the information technology systems in Westwood. We also have 1 vacancy for the Dedham Westwood Water Commission. Dedham Water District is a nonprofit, locally controlled public water system. We have 1 member. There are 6-member boards, 3 from Dedham and 3 from Westwood. And the Board of Selectmen appoint to a 3-year terms. Public meetings are held each month at the district office at 50 Elm Street. Dates and times of meetings are posted in both town halls, and all customers are encouraged to attend these meetings. Finally, the Historical Commission has 3 vacancies. The mission of the Westwood Historical Commission is to identify, document, and protect Westwood's historical resources. The commission recently undertook and assigned responsibility for the demolition bylaw of historical structures and when they can be demolished. This committee meets on a periodic basis, I think. That's right, it's not as scheduled.
No, it doesn't
Okay.
meet every month, it meets as often as necessary.
So we just wanted to say that those positions are available, and if anyone is interested, they should contact the Board of Selectmen's office. Serving on a board, and you heard the vacancies that are available, they're also available on the website for positions that are available.
Doesn't the rec commission have openings?
They do not. They met Monday night. The Board of Selectmen at their last meeting authorized
Somebody go from associate?
someone go from associate. I want to say Mitch Katzman, but you did that before. I can't think of the person's name. Paul Tusseri. Sorry, Paul Tusseri
he's
was an
back to full
associate.
membership?
He's back to full membership, and Paul Aries
Yeah.
is staying on as a associate.
Oh, okay.
So he's gonna continue.
Just not chair.
Just not chair. He's
And did they
leaving
vote
full
their chair?
membership. I believe they did that Monday night. I didn't hear back from Nicole. It was the start of camp week this week, so they've been a little hectic over there.
Okay.
But we'll follow up and make sure that's clean for the next
Thank you.
meeting.
Okay, let's see if I can get back into my agenda for the end of this. All right, we have no minutes to approve. Is there any other questions from the public or press, or any other information that was before the board tonight? Seeing none. Christine, my only question is, will be returning to open session? We will not.
That is a misprint.
Okay. The Board of Selectmen will be going to an executive session to discuss one issue related to possible litigation with the Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts, of which would have a detrimental effect on the positioning of the governing body if the discussion were held in open session. The board will not be returning to open session. The motion to go into
Yep. I move
executive
that the
session?
board adjourn to executive session
For the aforementioned reason?
for the aforementioned reason.
I'll second that.
Okay, and Mr. Hickey?
Aye?
Mrs. Hyde?
Aye.
And Mr. Walsh, aye. Our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, July 23rd at 7:30 right here in the police station. Please stay cool, and I assume that perhaps if the weather holds out, we may be opening up some town facilities to keep those people cool, especially as it gets later. So if you have any questions in the heat, please be sure to contact the police department or the fire department. Thank you, and we'll see you July 23rd.